welcome to the March 1st City Council meeting. Could I please have the roll call?
Dan Carey. Present. Peg Connor.
Here.
Salem Derby. Jennifer Hayes. Casey Kaczynski.
Here.
Joe McCoy.
Here.
Dan Riss.
Here.
Cameron Smith.
Here.
Joy Winnie.
Here.
Please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we have two sets of minutes. I'll entertain a motion. We'll do it separately for the minutes of February 1st.
So moved for February
Second.
1st.
Okay,
Second.
motion is second for February 1st. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any
Abstain.
abstention?
Who abstained?
Peg.
And John, I guess you were absent too? Okay.
Oh,
So abstain, okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Two abstentions. Motion passes. And it's entertain a motion for accepting the minutes of February 15th.
Second.
Okay, and all those in favor?
Aye.
And I abstained, and I guess Tamara too, so the two of us were abstaining on that as well. The motion still passes. Okay, public speak time. Because we've had several public hearings on the Sanctuary City issue, there's no longer a public hearing for this, but if someone would like to address the council on this now, public speak time would probably be your place, because there'll not be another opportunity to come make any more comments if you're here for that. But if you're here for anything else, please come to the council, to the podium, state your name. Okay. Moving on then, communications, I have one brief announcement. This is from Parks and Rec, reminding citizens of East Hampton or residents of East Hampton that we actually have pickleball now in East Hampton. The group meets Monday and Fridays from 7 to 9 p.m. Beginners and advanced players are welcome. You can have more information either at the email at etownpickleball@gmail, or there is a Facebook page, East Hampton Pickleball.
do we want to know what that is?
You don't know what pickleball is?
I don't know.
No, I don't know what it is.
Little pickles and you throw everybody.
You
No,
play?
it's this hybrid game that's somewhat like a mixture of badminton, ping pong, and tennis.
Oh,
Alrighty.
Okay, so you're intrigued.
Okay.
Okay, moving on.
Sign me
Correspondence, Counselor Rist.
Yes, the president has asked me to go over the legal opinion that was received by us from our attorney, Jack Fitzgibbon, regarding the Safe East Hampton ordinance that was considered by the ordinance committee. I'll read a little bit of it, but I wanted to let everybody know that this is on the website and it is available at the city clerk's office should you want the full copy. What was requested was an opinion regarding the authority of the East Hampton City Council to enact the so-called Safe East Hampton Ordinance, which specifies certain procedural law enforcement officials must take with respect to civil immigration detainer request issued by an authorized federal immigration official. I'm going to read the paragraph where he basically states his final conclusion. While the intent of the proposed ordinance to assure the safety and trust of all persons in East Hampton is one on which the City Council may certainly express a viewpoint by virtue of a council resolution or otherwise, it may not do so by virtue of an ordinance that directs the manner in which law enforcement officers will carry out their duties and functions. Pursuant to Section 3-2 of the Charter, the mayor has the exclusive power to direct the chief of police, and thus the officers under the chief's control, on precisely how detainer requests will be handled. The Charter does not permit this council to intervene in the policy-making authority reserved to the executive branch without contravening the prohibition against the council from exercising executive powers. In my opinion, the proposed safe ordinance would constitute an improper legislative exercise of executive authority. As I've said, the full document is available through the clerk's office and on the website. Is it not on the website?
It's on the
Yes, sir.
website.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Communications, Mayor Cadger. Okay, well then I'll mention it. So we did have a ball field naming committee, and I know the mayor submitted two names, Dave Motter and Jim Ramsey. The council will submit Jason Terrell, Omar Gomez, and Dan Perot will be the five-person committee for the baseball naming. So that's been taken care of as far as the baseball naming committee, baseball field naming committee. We can move on to standing committees. Finance, Councilor Rist.
Thank you, Mr. President. We met last week and approved the three items under our current agenda, and I would like to make a motion that the $19,500 for fire and ambulance unexpected expenses and salary, the $14,176.73 to provide funds for the cost of hiring a new firefighter, and the $46,760 for a marked cruiser for the police department, all be set for public hearing at 6:15 in these chambers at the next council meeting on March 15th. That's my motion.
Second.
Okay, a motion, a second to set public hearings for the 2 interdepartmental transfer and 1 supplemental appropriation for March 15th in these chambers. Additional questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion passes.
I'd like to move to new business and do a first reading of the items presented. A supplemental appropriation request is hereby, we ask for approval of the amount requested of $48,310 to be appropriated from free cash, to be appropriated to the school department, $48,310. The amounts requested will be used for the following purpose: to provide funds to the school department for heating repairs at White Brook Middle School and Center School. The next is a supplemental appropriation request. We request approval for the following appropriation: $206,479 to be appropriated from CPA Historic Preservation, $117,253, and CPA Undesignated Fund, $89,226, for the total of $206,479, to be appropriated to CPA Old Town Hall second floor renovation and restoration design account. The amounts requested will be used for the following purpose: to provide funds for the final design and engineering and creation of construction bid documents for the renovation and restoration of the second floor of Old Town Hall. I'd like to make a motion that these 2 items be sent to Finance for review.
Second.
Okay, a motion, a second to send the previously read supplemental appropriations to finance. Additional questions or comments? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion passes.
I'd also like to make a motion to request that these 2 items also be put on the public hearing agenda at 6:15 in these chambers on March 15th.
Okay, is there a second for that?
Second.
Okay, a motion, a second to also set public hearings for these 2 supplemental appropriations on March 15th. Additional questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion passes.
The latter 2 items will be talked about at our next meeting at 5 o'clock on the 8th, which is next Wednesday, on room 1. Thank you.
Thank you. Public Safety, Counselor Hayes.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have no update to report. Our next meeting is on March 7th, but I would like to note that we do have another item on our agenda that is not listed on this agenda, which is to take a look at the intersection at the beginning of Cottage Street. We had a public comment last time period where somebody wanted us to take a look at all those roads coming in to see if we can do anything to make it a little bit safer for after school.
Okay. If you could just probably type it up and give it to Barb so we can go through the official kind of thing. Perfect.
I
Okay.
think
and
it's
that-
already on our,
Well, that was just,
No.
no, she said she was just coming to speak, but I never got anything for the agenda.
okay,
I mean, you can send it to me, or you can wait and just talk to her.
that's fine. There's plenty of time to get it to you by the 7th, so.
Okey-doke.
I added it to your agenda.
So it's already on our
Yes.
agenda. So you don't need anything from me?
To put it on this agenda, I do.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Mr. President,
Counselor Rist.
point of order, we ought to, as a council, approve any item that's sent to committee, just as a matter of formality. I don't want us to get too loose with our rules, so I would make the motion that this item be placed on Public Safety's agenda. Second.
Yeah.
Somebody has to second.
I'll second that.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 'Cause that's true. I mean, I guess that makes sense. That would, we would
Yeah.
send it to subcommittee versus it bypassing us otherwise.
It's nice to have something in writing, though.
Oh, yeah, no, exactly, which is Jen will do. She'll
Yeah, I'll take
send
care of
it.
that.
Generate it, but it's the item itself.
Yeah, you know, you're right.
Perfect. Thank you. That's concluded.
Okay. Thank you, Counselor Rist, again, for your knowledge there. Appointments, Counselor Smith.
No new business, so I have no report.
Okay, ordinance, Counselor Kwasinski.
Well, we heard from Counselor Rist about the opinion from our city attorney. I just wanted to reiterate and say a few words about the process we undertook, where hundreds of people came before the council, said what was on their mind. I think this was a great example of citizen participation, and I'm very pleased that our community went through this process. On both sides, there were There was much passion in the discussions, and folks got their ideas across without having had the opportunity to be heckled down by anyone else. I think we had a very respectful process. I have to give credit to not only our community for that, but also to the chair of our committee, who spoke up and I think set the tone at each of the meetings. I think Councilor Derby did an excellent job with that, and we should commend him for that. That being said, I think it's important to note that immigrants are welcome in our community. If we look historically, and I can speak from some experience because my family came here as immigrants, and the situation was different. There weren't policies as to limiting the number of people who could come to our country. At the time, my grandparents came here, and later on there were limits. But people were discriminated against. There was a lot across the country. If you were an immigrant, it was not a great position in which to be. You were the lowliest of the low. I think East Hampton has come a long way. We treat our people with great respect. We treat our immigrants with great respect. Documented or undocumented. I believe that our community treats the immigrants with the highest degree of respect. I would ask us to also commend our police department. They sat through our discussions and maintained their decor. It's hard when you're enforcing the law to have the community be discussing how you should do this, whether you're doing it in a way that's proper or right. Our officers, both the administration and the line officers, I believe, held their heads high throughout this process. They do the right thing. I believe with what our mayor has said and set our course, that we're on a good course, a positive course. That being said, I would move that we withdraw without prejudice the item under that had been under consideration regarding sanctuary city designation. That was voted 3-0 by the committee for referral to the full council.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second. Okay, any, just before we take the final vote, any discussions, last comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain? Motion, what abstention, motion still passes. Okay, Councilor Kozinski, anything more? I did notice there's a bunch of
Oh, right,
expired.
We would ask that we would extend for 90 days items regarding the signs ordinance, the food truck, the plastic bags, recreational marijuana, human rights ordinance, and that would do it for now. There's a lot on the agenda.
So the motion is second for the 90-day extensions of those previously read items. Additional questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstain? Motion passes. And I have one more thing. Salem asked if you would make announcement for a meeting next Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Oh, let
Sorry.
me announce that we have a meeting next Wednesday at 6 p.m.
It's the 8th.
Yeah, March 8th, yep.
March 8th.
Okay.
Which will be...
To be determined, I assume.
but likely to be
In this
downstairs.
building, right?
Room 1 should be
Room
available.
one,
We're
room
usually
one.
done.
Okay, terrific. Room one. Okay, does that conclude?
That concludes.
Okay.
Ordinance.
Of course, but now you're back on property. so-
On property. No report. I do expect that we will probably schedule a meeting at the next council meeting.
Okay.
We'll announce that. To discuss the town hall proposal to have a 40-year lease on the town hall.
Okay,
So stay tuned.
great, thank you.
That concludes.
Okay, Rules and Government Relations.
report, Mr.
No
President.
report. The ball field naming committee has been named. There's no old business. We went through supplemental appropriations, so I'll entertain, unless anyone has got any comments, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion, second to adjourn. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained. Motion passes. See you March 15th.
That was fast.
One of our